Hello and welcome to Weird Around Illinois. One thing that comes up often in the world in general, people will have an encounter with a cryptid or a UFO or a ghost, and they're faced with this question of, now what? Who do I talk to? My friends aren't going to believe me. The police are going to laugh at me. Who do I tell? Well, we'd like to go into that in a little more depth with you and give you some answers. So let's get weird. All right, so the first thing most people think of when something weird happens or something potentially dangerous happens is call the police, call 911. And if it's a dangerous situation, by all means, you want to do that. You know, if there's a Bigfoot ripping down your front door and trying to come in and get you, then yes, call the police. But if you just saw a strange light in the sky over your neighbor's house, police don't really want to hear about that. They're going to come out just to get a story to tell their buddies, but they're going to be laughing the whole way there and the whole way back. I've heard of people calling like observatories and planetariums to ask about lights in the sky. I've heard about people calling zoos to report, possible cryptids. Obviously, people are a little confused.
But what are the zoos going to do?
I don't know. I really don't know. But there are other options. And why don't we start with the most obvious one? Us. Weird Around Illinois. If you see something weird in or around Illinois, we are one-stop shopping. We are the first place you go.
Yep. Our link is directly in the description. Probably should be the first thing, if not second.
And you can report anonymously, or you can post things in the comments. You can get to us on Instagram. You can email us. We will be happy to hear from you in whatever manner you wish to contact us. And there are some advantages to that over some of these other places. First of all, if you contact us with your experience, sooner or later, it's going to get shared with all of our other listeners. Whether you post it in the comments section and it just kind of, shows up there and people comment on it directly, or whether you submit an anonymous report and we discuss it in a later podcast. But eventually, other people in our area who are like-minded are going to get a chance to go over what happened to you and say, oh yeah, the same thing happened to me. Or, oh no, I know what that is. You get basically a support community behind you.
Right.
Another thing is investigation. Believe it or not, we look into almost every report that we get. The only ones we really don't look into are the ones that are so far out of our range that we can't get to them. And even those are on the back burner. Eventually, when we're traveling to Wyoming, we will look into it. You don't hear about all of the investigations that we do, but whether it's a dogman or a Bigfoot or a UFO or a ghost, if we can get there, we get there, and we look into it firsthand. And if we can't look into it firsthand, then we will often pass it along to one of our colleagues. Like we've mentioned stuff to Lon Strickler before. We can mention stuff to CAPS, the Wisconsin group with Barnaby Jones, and there are a number of people we met at the Paranormal convention and people we've been communicating with regularly who would be happy to check into your reports if for whatever reason we're unable to.
Yeah, and now for the majority of this video, we're literally just going to be giving you directions on, per category, where you should go, and just, I guess, the most ideal spots to report what you've seen. Yeah.
We're going to give you other alternatives besides us.
Yeah, of course, besides us.
Yes. I just want to make sure you understand what we're going to do for you. The other thing that we should probably mention is that if it's something you're interested in, and if your report is something we think our listeners would be interested in hearing, we would love to interview you on our podcast and let you tell your own story, which is something we've done with a few guests before. And we always find that very interesting and entertaining, and I think our listeners do too. So, as you mentioned, there are other avenues. And again, these are all perfectly trustworthy avenues, good places to report. No, not a problem with reporting to them. They're just not always as Illinois specific as we are. And you might not get the kind of, direct response you might get from us.
Yeah. Some of these are specialized, some of these are much more generalized.
Right.
And what we'll be starting with here are UFO reports. Any sky anomalies, really. So I have the first part, Weird Around Illinois, and then also the AARO, All Domain Anomaly Resolution Office. This one is definitely more specialized for sure. Very more specialized than us, really. Basically, what they want is any military, ex-military, government contractors, or like former employees to report to their website.
Yeah, so I have to say I find that a little disappointing because I saw, had to be 2 or 3 months ago, this podcast came out where Neil deGrasse Tyson was interviewing this guy from the AARO, and they were all excited about the launch of their new public reporting website. And he was like, yep, by the end of 2025, you will be able to report your sightings directly to us. And we've got this great mechanism in place to investigate UAPs and UFOs. And we're going to use AI to sort through the different pictures that are submitted to us. And
that's a horrible idea.
Yeah, I agree. But he was excited about it. But then I go and look at it right at the end of 2025, and there's that disclaimer that I'm sorry, if you're not affiliated with the government in some way, we do not want to hear from you.
Yeah, that's pushing a lot of people away. But I guess, they're going to get a lot of specific information out of it, so.
Maybe they were afraid they were just going to get overwhelmed.
And maybe. But the next one, definitely a lot more generalized. MUFON.
Oh, yeah.
Mutual UFO Network. This one has just a big string of UFOs all across America, right?
Yeah, they've got groups everywhere.
Yeah. Is that global?
I believe it is, yeah.
Wow, yeah. So that one, if you want to have your UFO sighting across the map and document it officially, they're the place to go.
And they're very meticulous too in their investigations. I actually looked into becoming a MUFON investigator so that it would be another thing we could kind of add to our repertoire. And it's like basically getting a college degree. I mean,
really?
Yeah, you've got to take these online courses, and you've got to like pair up with a MUFON investigator for several investigations, and they don't let you just fill out an online quiz and pay $20 and now you're a MUFON investigator. They actually get people who do the job.
That's a good thing, and I think that adds on to their credibility quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've definitely heard they don't mess around. They bring like whole teams to do investigations.
Definitely. And a lot of the disclosure stuff you're seeing, like in Congress, MUFON has been working behind the scenes to set those things up. A lot of those congressional hearings were actually started by somebody from MUFON contacting senators and saying, hey, we really want to know this stuff. Your constituents really want to know this stuff. Make it happen.
Yep. MUFON. And then the final one for this is the UFO Clearinghouse. Clearinghouse, sorry.
They've been sort of replaced by MUFON in some ways. They used to be the place to go for UFO reporting, but they've kind of faded into the background, but they're still there. They're out there. I heard them most recently in the Chicago Mothman sightings.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you might recall when we talked to Lon Strickler, he said that the first reports that he got were actually through somebody at the UFO Clearinghouse who kind of called him up and said, I don't think this is us. Maybe this is you.
All right.
It wasn't quite a UFO, but it might have been a Mothman. But even though they kind of passed it off to him, they still investigated several of those things. I know in Tobias's book, he references UFO Clearinghouse on several of his case reports.
Yeah. All of them decent sources. Definitely a lot of pros and cons to consider for all of them.
So next is Dogman. Of course, you can report those to us as well.
That's our favorite.
Yeah. And there's also Phantoms and Monsters, the really well-known site in like the cryptid space. And there's also like the North American Dogman Project. They specialize in Dogman, I think, well, basically all over North America. They don't just specialize in Illinois like we do.
Right.
Yeah.
And I should mention that Phantoms and Monsters website is run by Lon Strickler. So
yeah, they take in just about everything as well. I mean, probably not everything because they have, stuff that'll filter out a lot of not what's the right way to put it?
You're not credible.
Yeah, not credible. That's it. Not credible sources or stories.
Yeah, but in terms of the range of stuff they'll take in, I mean, I know we're talking about Dogman here, but the impression I got from talking to Lon is just he's interested in all of it.
Yeah. And for Bigfoot, it's very similar. Word on our forum. There's Founds and Monsters again. And the other one, which is probably the most popular, is BFRO, the Bigfoot Research Organization. They have reports all over the globe, I think.
And of course, you know who runs that one.
Yeah.
Good old Matt Moneymaker.
Yeah.
And very respected site. I love what they do with the way they break sightings down by county, and you can click on a particular county and see, sightings going back 40 years from that location. The other thing is, I don't know if they want Dogman sightings, but I noticed Dogman sightings do occasionally make their way into the BFRO reports.
Oh. So it's like a hybrid of both Bigfoot and Dogman?
Yeah, and again, I don't know if they really want the Dogman sightings. I think it's more like somebody reports a Bigfoot to them, and when they do further investigation, it's like, this is a Dogman. But they keep them in there.
All right, that's good to know.
I mean, why not? It probably benefits them anyway.
Yeah,
it there.
Yeah, definitely. And I should say also about their research, kind of like MUFON, they've got their little pockets around the country, at least. I'm not sure. I don't think they're worldwide, but they have investigators in basically every state except Hawaii. And if you submit a report, they will have someone local investigate it. And again, kind of not like MUFON. This is actually even worse than MUFON. They basically said, if you want to become a BFRO investigator, don't call us, we'll call you. They're not looking for more investigators at this point.
I think at one point we thought about it, like joining a group in Wisconsin, I think.
Yeah, we were going to join a couple, or at least one of their expeditions. They hold expeditions, and for a fee you can join them and go with their researchers. And we thought it would be a good way to kind of get to know those people and maybe even become BFRO investigators ourselves. Still on the table. It just didn't work out for us that year.
And of course there's other cryptids like Mothman, again, us, and Founds and Monsters.
Yep.
Like everything.
Yeah. It's hard to find somebody else who specializes in Mothman. I mean, Phantoms and Monsters, the Mothman is really one of their specialties.
And Tobias too.
Tobias, yeah. Well, what is his group called again?
I don't remember. I was hoping you remember.
I am going to have to look that one up. I know I say that every podcast. There's one thing I have to look up.
Well, I could search it up right now.
Okay. Well, while you're searching that up, I will mention the other cryptid that sometimes gets swept under the rug, which is Goatman. And we don't include his contact information, but if you can track down Chad Lewis, I think he loves a good Goatman story.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Let's see. Oh yeah, the Singular Fortean Society.
Yeah, the Singular Fortean Society. Right. That's Tobias Whalen's group. And
I mean, if you give that a search right now on Google, it's I don't know. I just see a Facebook on there. I'm not necessarily seeing a direct website though.
Right.
They have a main website.
Okay.
Oh yeah, here we go. Yeah, they do.
Okay. Yeah, so he's another guy who just investigates general weirdness. But he seems to really be into Mothman lately, so
yeah.
I would say other cryptids, that'd be another good place to visit, would be Singular Fortean.
Yeah, especially in Illinois, because he specializes in Illinois.
I think and he does Wisconsin too. I think the society is actually based in Wisconsin, if I'm not mistaken, even though it doesn't post as much there.
I think he's from Illinois, so that's interesting.
Originally, yeah. I don't know if he's still in Illinois, but I know I've ordered stuff from Singular Fortean, and it came from Wisconsin. So.
All right.
So I presume he's working in both states. Yeah. So the other thing that, of course, comes up regularly is ghosts. And honestly, that's probably the most likely encounter you're going to have is with a ghost. Just about everybody I talk to has a ghost story. And of course, we love to hear those too. and we love to investigate those, especially if you'll, let us come to your haunted space and hang out for a few hours and play with our toys. But there are some other investigation societies. Now, I'm going to be brutally honest with you on this. I have not worked directly with any of these folks. Whereas, we know Lon Strickler. I've done stuff with MUFON before, at least in terms of, using their materials and interacting with their people. But I really don't know many of these people on this list, but they come highly recommended. The first is Paranormal Societies, which they kind of give haunting assistance. Like if you have a ghost in your house that's driving your family crazy and you need it, addressed and hopefully removed, I think they're the people you talk to.
Ghostbusters.
Yeah, kind of. Ghost Research Society, which the name kind of implies that they're going to do more like finding out where the ghost comes from and the history behind it, and helping you to determine exactly what is haunting the area you're talking about.
Is it a demon or not a demon?
Right. And then there's Wisconsin CAPS, which is Cryptids, Anomalies, and Paranormal Society. Now, Barnaby Jones figures prominently in that organization, and we do know Barnaby Jones. We met him at Paranormal Chicago, and I've interacted with him by email a few times. And, of course, the late Chiton Noir just raved about him. He's just a great guy. And if your haunting is in Wisconsin, I think they're probably a good point of contact for you. Then we've got the Illinois Paranormalists. They're kind of a ghost investigation group. And last but not least, the Paranormal Mom Society.
Oh, okay.
And based on the picture, it is exactly what it sounds like.
just a couple of moms?
A group of moms.
A group of moms.
Yes. So if you need a bunch of moms to come and check out your ghost, this is where you go.
All right. Well, that's pretty niche, I guess.
It is. And depending on the type of haunting you have, they could send your ghost to its room, Just,
Yeah, it could make sense because there's a lot of ghosts that are known to be like kids.
Exactly. They could put your ghost in timeout for eternity. So those are our recommendations for places you can go to besides us, but come to us first if you have any weirdness in or around Illinois. So as always, we thank you for listening and thank you for subscribing, and please keep the reports coming.